Ankur. Well, they did end on a positive note. The S&P 500 that rose more than 0.5%, posting a third straight session that was positive. The broad market index now sits less than 2% off the high it notched in February. The Nasdaq Composite, on the other hand, that also added more than 0.5%, while the 30-stock Dow Jones Industrial Average that climbed 0.3%. However, stock futures ticked slightly lower after regular trading as investors sought details on the trade policy consensus that was reached between US and China overnight. They're also anticipating the release of May's consumer inflation report this later in the day. Now, just for more context, now US and Chinese officials have reached a consensus on trade after their second day of talks in London. Now, US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has said that he and US Trade Representative Jamieson Greer will return to Washington to make sure President Trump approves this framework. Now, apart from that, of course, May inflation data, as I said earlier, is due today. On the earnings front, traders will be watching out for reports from Chewy and Oracle. But how are things looking on the crude front, Ankur?
Yes, crude is also standing towards a level of $66 if you talk about Brent crude, and WTI around 64. In fact, both Brent crude as well as gold edged lower amid US-China trade talks, which is moving forward. And apart from that, dollar is also holding at 99 level, while US 10-year yield has slipped.
That's right. Now, moving on, let's also take a look at some of the cues that we should be watching out for today. In the US, as I said, CPI inflation data is due later in the day. Apart from that, federal budget balance is also something that we'll be watching out for. In Japan, we have the PPPI data coming today. In terms of corporate action back home, City Union Bank and City Union Bank is expected to mull fundraising today. Apart from that, Hindustan Zinc's board is expected to mull a dividend. Now, it's also the last day to be eligible for dividends when it comes to Trent, Tata Chemicals and ICICI Prudential.
Kanishka was hinting earlier,